I start a new job today. I love working from home. I love the freedom of being able to design my own schedule, but I need to get out of this house. So I got a part-time job, which I'm excited for. It's at a hospital. Hello, people of the internet. My name is Ronnie Jo. I'm a registered dietitian who does things here on YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing okay. I hope that you've had a great start to 2022. It's been a pretty good, 7 days here so far. So fingers crossed this trend continues. Today's video is another influencer review video. I'm going to talk about Dr. Phil because he's famous and he does things with nutrition. Who knew his website had a whole page dedicated to nutrition? I discovered this in my research. So, of course, this video is just my opinion, it's just my analysis, so please be respectful towards Dr. Phil, his family, and his team, and please be respectful towards me in the process. I'm going to talk about career backstory, nutrition philosophy, and qualifications like the other two influencer videos I've done, but first and foremost, disclaimer, educational, entertainment purposes only. Don't listen to strangers on the internet. Thank you. Okay, so Phil McGraw, Dr. Phil's real name, was born in 1950 in Oklahoma, making him almost 72 years old. He did grow up in Texas and obtained a football scholarship to the University of Tulsa. However, it took him a little bit longer to complete his undergraduate degree. He ended up graduating from Midwestern State University in Texas in 1975. He then attended University of North Texas for his PhD in psychology, and in 1979, he opened a practice with his father, who also had a degree in psychology. He realized, during that time, though, that he didn't really like the one-on-one therapy. Totally understand, not for everyone, and decided to branch out into more self-motivation seminar type situations. In 1989, he founded Courtroom Sciences, a company that helped trial lawyers learn how to build better cases. It is through this venture that he met Oprah, because Oprah is tied into every single one of these, I swear. And I should do a video on Oprah at some point, but that will be for a different day. She was being sued and hired him for help. They won, and he became a regular on our show. And in 2002, he launched his show, The Dr. Phil Show, and it has received numerous Emmy nominations and has a very wide fan base. So that's what his career backstory is. Now let's jump into his nutrition philosophy. So what I perceive as his nutrition philosophy. For starters, in 2014, he released a book called The 2020 Diet, Turn Your Weight Loss Vision into Reality, i.e. 2020 vision. Punny. Like Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil uses a lot of clickbait nutrition terms to draw viewers in. There's a whole nutrition page on his website, like I mentioned before, and it has very weird article titles like Food That Makes You Hungry, and focuses on a high response cost, high yield zone approach to weight loss, which essentially focuses on a lower calorie, lower fat, and lower processed sugar approach to weight loss. It focuses heavily on portion control, and high response cost foods are foods that require a lot of effort to prepare and eat. And high yield foods are basically just nutrient dense, lower calorie foods. Think berries as an example of a high yield zone food. I looked forever on any reference or any resource coming from Dr. Phil's mouth to talk about how he eats in a day, what he eats in a day. And I am almost convinced that it's not out there. I do know that he is a very private person, and it's not my place to make assumptions. So I'm sorry that I can't include that. But his website does have a plethora of nutrition content that help me shape what I view as his outlook on nutrition. So that was his nutrition philosophy as I perceive it. Now let's talk about Dr. Phil's qualification to give nutrition advice. Now, he is a psychologist. He's a PhD, he's a doctor. That's great. And psychology is very important when it comes to food and changing food habits. I studied psychology before I switched to nutrition in college, and my experience in that is invaluable. I think it aids a lot to how I approach clients and changes with them when on the things that they feel they want to change. However, just because you know how the brain works, and even if you know how the brain works with food, does not mean you should be giving nutrition advice. Dr. Phil just doesn't have the education in nutrition science to give specific nutrition advice. Probably knows the basics of food and how the brain reacts to food. But I just think that it's a little out of his scope of practice, even if he doesn't work in medicine. It's a little bit out of his scope of practice to be continually giving nutrition advice to people. Overall, my thoughts on Dr. Phil is that, just like any other TV personality, it can get a little unethical sometimes. I'm sure people have watched his show and he does cross some lines sometimes. He seems like a pretty nice guy though. However, he should not be giving specific nutrition advice. I do think that he will continue to profit off of nutrition advice because that's a highly profitable area. I just wish that he would have more interactions with dietitians to figure out the nutrition science part, because I do believe that his psychology background and then a dietitian could come together and do some really great things. But standing alone as a psychologist, you should not be giving specific nutrition advice. And with that, that's all I have for you today. I know this video was a little bit shorter than usual, but I couldn't find anything on how he eats, so I can't really talk about that. Please like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. Comment who you want me to talk about next if you want me to talk about someone. But in the meantime, please stay safe and please stay healthy. Goodbye.